to the Ultimate X podcast. I know we're a little late, better late than never. You know what I mean? We're going to be pumping out some episodes of Ultimate X podcast so we can be back up to date. But I am here. Yeah, we got this episode. This is back.
3 episodes behind.
Yeah, this is June 19th's episode. This is supposed to go up while we were on our trip, but I got sick, so I couldn't record at all. So we were kind of fucked. But here we are. We got you this episode, Slammiversary. I'm here with Big Daddy Hoss, the BDH. Hello, Big Daddy Hoss. Hello.
Hi.
Austin has the unfortunate non-benefit of watching this pay-per-view back in June. I watched this a couple days ago to catch up.
Yeah, viewers, whoever's hearing this, I don't know how we upload these days. Yeah, I watched this back in May actually, and so the observer notes that I have when we get to that, they're going to be as new to me as the rest of you guys.
Well,
and,
guess what?
I don't remember a lot of the shows, so we fun.
Well, guess what? How about we just get to those notes now?
Okay, sure. First thing I'd like to note before we get to these notes here, canonically, Impact Wrestling considers the show Slammiversary 3, even though it's the first ever Slammiversary, but it's the 3rd anniversary show. So when we get to future Slammiversaries and like when they start adding numbers to it, they're by the canon of this being the 3rd.
I will never understand why Slammiversary is not the WrestleMania and Bound for Glory is. I will never understand. Slammiversary just sounds like more of a WrestleMania name.
They number it.
And it's their first ever pay-per-view. Why the fuck wouldn't they make that their Mania?
I don't know. Anyways.
I never understand it.
So to give a little bit of a catch-up, in the first edition of The Observer post-last pay-per-view, Papa Dave reviewed the Hard Justice show that we reviewed. The Observer gave it, good news, an 86% thumbs up.
Wow. I wish I could remember if I gave it the same rating.
I don't remember, but the match of the night, according to Dave, was Christopher Daniels versus Shocker.
Oh, okay.
And the worst match of the night was Apollo and Sonny Siaki versus PD and EY.
I think that was the opener, if I'm correct.
I think so. And I quote, "We are one step, and most likely just a few weeks away, from having the 2nd edition of the Monday Night Wars."
Oh, shit.
A deal is not completely finalized, but it is expected that in a few weeks, Impact will begin to air 8 to 10 p.m. on WGN America.
Holy shit, could you imagine?
Giving them a first hour unopposed and second hour opposing Monday Night Raw's first hour. TNA does have one final meeting of Spike TV officials, though as we've heard in previous months, Spike is by no means interested in wrestling.
Yes, they will never ever have it ever again.
Well, Spike has been adamant that they're not interested in professional wrestling.
They're like, please stop sending us emails, Jarrett. We don't want it.
TNA's current deal with Fox Sports Net ends on the May 29th show. It is unknown when WGN would begin airing Impact, but the May 31st tapings may be canceled.
Oh.
If the deal is inked, the plan is to go live from Orlando for 2 hours every other Monday, with a Tuesday night taping taking place the next day for the following week's show. So their plan was to they'd have a live Monday night show, then tape the next week's show Tuesday, and then have a week off from performing, and then repeat the next week.
Jesus.
No matter what happens with the TV situation, TNA is 100% holding their 3-year anniversary show Slammiversary on June 19th. The show is set to be headlined by a King of the Mountain match for the NWA title, with AJ Styles defending against Jeff Jarrett, Monty Brown, Abyss, and a competitor to be determined, most likely Sean Waltman, as the original plan was Jeff Hardy, but he's been suspended. And Waltman has been put in all of Jeff's segments and matches this already in the taping cycle. Other planned matches include Chris Daniels defending his X Division title against Chris Sabin and Michael Shane, Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens versus Petey Williams and Eric Young, AMW versus 3 Live Crew, The Outlaw versus BG James, and Bobby Roode versus Lance Hoyt.
Bobby Roode.
Boy, how some of these will have changed. There are some talent issues to be dealt with. On Hard Justice, Jeff Hardy no-showed the event. He canceled and reserved a later flight from North Carolina to Orlando either 6 or 8 times over the weekend before not getting there at all. He did arrive after the show had ended, as he was hanging out at the hotel with fans, and his body was painted up like he had worked the show.
What?
He arrived to the following TV tapings 2 nights later, being told he was suspended. He was very apologetic, but didn't do himself any favors when he said the reason he delayed his flight was because he was busy running errands.
I had to go get milk from the store, guys. Come on.
His suspension will likely come to an end on the July 11th tapings when the July 11th pay-per-view, when Matt Hardy is set to come in and they do a Hardy Boys reunion on the No Surrender pay-per-view. If, for some reason, Matt Hardy does go back to WWE, then Jeff's suspension will last longer.
They just can't catch a break.
Yeah, if Matt's here, we'll bring you back early. But if not, you're going to work your whole suspension, buddy.
And you're going to like it.
That's not the only issue, though, because the next one involves Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh?
Page was booked to get pinned by Monty Brown's Pounce in a DDP and R-Truth versus Monty Brown and Outlaw match. He refused to do the job, which didn't go over well at all. Scott D'Amore negotiated with Page that he'd get to hit his Diamond Cutter on 3 guys, which was the reason they brought back Phi Delta Slam to take 2 of them. And the Outlaw took the 3rd before being hit with the Pounce and losing. However, this soured everyone on DDP, as he already had heat because on the prior show, he scripted out the 6-man lethal lockdown, and Jeff Jarrett and everyone else in the match didn't want to follow his script.
They said, fuck you.
Page was not used on the post-Hard Justice tapings, and he is not currently scheduled for Slammiversary. There are currently no plans for him whatsoever. The only saving grace for Page is that they would need as much star power as possible for a new TV deal, and it will probably keep him around for that. According to Dave, Hard Justice was a good show, but one that had a great feeling of uneasiness. The show lacked a killer marquee match, even though a lot of the matches were good. The crowd at Universal was not hot whatsoever for anything on the show. For the first time since running pay-per-views, this was not standing room only. Fans were not turned away for once, and seats were not completely filled. The biggest news from the show is the nearly year-long title reign of Jeff Jarrett came to an end with AJ Styles beating him for the title.
I also think by the way, I'd like to point out, sorry to interrupt, I think that we pointed out how there was like piped-in crowd noises, like 100% when we watched it.
We did. And I was going to talk about this, but I wanted to save it for this. There was a major issue with the title change, though.
Oh?
AJ Styles' contract was set to expire in September, and when they thought they were close to a new deal, he did not actually sign and agree. Jeff Jarrett refused to lose the title to AJ unless he signed a new 3-year extension that would bring him to September 2008. Styles, who was believed to have gotten a very significant raise, signed, giving him far more time to be with his family than a prospective WWE deal would have. So the big will he AJ Styles signature has been signed on the contract. He's here to stay for at least 3 more years.
That's what I'm talking about.
The other major story is the pro wrestling debut of Tito Ortiz, who got high marks from everyone in TNA with the feeling that he was a natural for this business.
Oh, he's built for this business that I love.
There were some who had issue with the handling of the death of Chris Candido. Before the show started in the building, Timmy Hart interviewed the Naturals in the ring, designed to babyface them in sympathy of the death. The show started with a photo of Candido and one of the tag belts in the dark and empty ring with a 10-belt salute. There was also another interview with the Naturals and Mike Tenay, where they were again presented as sympathetic. Some, most notably Bob Ryder, were negative on this, claiming the company was exploiting Candido's death. Ryder claimed after the show that the internet's reaction proved him correct. When the Naturals came out for their tag title match, there was a chair put in the corner with the same yellow towel Candido used. It was very moving, and there were loud Candido chants throughout the match. For what it's worth, though, Meltzer and Alvarez had no issue with the use of Candido, and they thought it was well done.
I didn't see a problem with it compared to what companies do nowadays when someone dies, and they'll just ride it out for months. Like one night where they just did something in honor of him and turned a team face, it kind of makes sense. Like I don't know, I don't see what the issue was.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought
I
there was
thought it
no
was
problem.
fine.
Meltzer also gave his star ratings for Hard Justice. He gave the pre-show Shark Boy versus David Young 2 stars. PD and EY versus Apollo and Siaki 1.25 star. Michael Shane and Trinity versus Sabin and Tracy got 2.5 stars. Raven versus Sean Waltman got 3.25 star. Monty Brown and the Outlaw versus DDP and Truth got 2.25. Naturals versus AMW got 3 stars. Daniel Shocker got 3.25. The Gauntlet got 3 stars, and AJ Jeff Jarrett got 3 stars. Like AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels has signed a 3-year extension over this weekend.
Hey.
If Dusty Rhodes doesn't stay with the company much longer, Larry Zbyszko is expected to take over the DOA position. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
We kind of saw that on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
On this one.
Chris Daniels and AJ Styles did a 60-minute draw 2 nights before Hard Justice on a show in LA for PWG. The match was billed title versus title, Styles defending the PWG World title, and Daniels defending the TNA X Division title. Johnny Fairplay showed up at the card.
Oh, yeah.
And was taunting Styles, playing heel manager for Chris Daniels, although he didn't appear to be part of the show since he left before the match. Fairplay was also scheduled to be brought back to TNA, but he may be a casualty of the booking change because Dusty liked him, but no one else did.
Fucking Fairplay.
TNA had begun negotiations with Jushin Thunder Liger about working Slammiversary. He would have challenged Daniels for the X title. Ultimo Dragon was also approached. The Liger deal fell apart, though, because he is competing in New Japan Super Juniors tournament. They are still in talks to bring in Ultimo Dragon.
Yeah,
Dude,
about
fucking
that.
imagine. The new booking team is interested in signing 3 young talents by the names of Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, and CM Punk.
Never heard of any of those guys.
Out of the 3, Samoa Joe is the most probable, as creative plans have been discussed for him already. A couple notes. It's a long fucking... Don't worry, the other newsletters after this current one, this is still the first one, by the way. It's not as long as this one. Notes from what may be the final Impact TV taping for Fox Sports Network. Both episodes were good. Tracy told Michael Shane she wanted him to go for the X title. Styles got an interview on his title win, but was jumped by Jeff Jarrett, Monty Brown, and Abyss. Raven complained about not being in King of the Mountain since he beat Sean Waltman. He told Zbyszko to add him to the match as the wild card Dusty would pick. Zbyszko said no, so Raven beat the fuck out of him and wouldn't stop until Dusty added him to the match. After 2 DDTs, Dusty arrived and suspended Raven. Raven said, "You can't suspend me because I quit." The idea here is a face turn for Raven. There were actually a lot of turns teased on these tapings. Ron Killings and BT James argued and teased a 3 Live Crew breakup for James not showing up at Hard Justice. After Daniels beat Cassidy Riley, he ended up in a 3-way brawl with Chris Sabin and Michael Shane. AMW was doing a losing streak gimmick and teasing they either split or turn heel. They first lost to PD and EY, which meant they couldn't challenge for the titles on pay-per-view. Abyss pinned Chris Sabin. Jeff Jarrett was on commentary and went to congratulate Abyss, but Abyss laid him out. Killings and BG James beat AMW. At one point, James Storm gave Harris a chair, but Harris threw it to the ground and refused to use it and ended up getting rolled up by Truth. And the Naturals tease they have a new legendary manager, but they won't name who it is.
Who will it be?
Remember last week when I mentioned Lex Lovett's retirement?
Yes.
Well, last week, last episode, 2 months ago, when I mentioned Lex Lovett's retirement.
Yeah.
That retirement only had to do with Florida indie wrestling. He told TNA officials he would still do job duty for them.
Let's go! Let's go! That's my boy!
Lex Lovett, sticking around, lifer.
Hell yeah.
Finally, from this article, before I get to the next one, Gail Kim was backstage at the tapings.
Oh!
The plan is TNA want to sign her, Daz, and Molly Holly for their TV show when it goes 2 hours. They won't be used every week, but will use as a semi-regular women's division.
Ooh.
All right, moving on to May 30th. TNA was expected to announce them going to WGN on Monday night, 8 to 10 time slot. At press time, we do not have an official start date, but the guess is the earliest possible date will be June 20th, which would be the first show post-Slammiversary. Fox Sportnet officials were under the impression TNA would be renewing their deal as negotiations had continued. It wasn't until May 20th that TNA gave them word they would not be renewing and their contract will expire on May 28th. At press time, the May 31st TV tapings have not been canceled, but the odds are that it will be. It looks like right now that the company will be off television for the 2 weeks leading into Slammiversary, and that no new TV or angles will be taped for the show. This means the challenger of who the wild card person in the King of the Mountain will never be revealed before showtime unless they announce it on their website. TNA, man. UWX held the Chris Candido Memorial Show with some TNA talent featured. Here's some notable results. Johnny Candido won the Chris Candido Memorial Battle Royal.
Johnny Candido.
Papalicious defeated Oman Tortuga.
Tortuga.
Billy Gunn defeated Justin Incredible. Axe Rotten defeated Corporal Robinson in a hardcore match. Mike Cruel defeated Andy Douglas to become the new UXW United States Champion.
Oh, shit.
Elix Skipper defeated Kid Cash to retain the UXW Extreme title.
Extreme.
Simply Luscious defeated Allure Little Feather. The tag team of the greatest masked wrestlers of all time, Shark Boy and the Masked Maniac, defeated the Christopher Street Connection, Buff E and Mace.
None of their names are Chris.
CM Punk defeated Ian Rotten. The tag team of Nightlife Final Cut, Mike Tobin and Trent Acid, defeated The Solution, Havoc and Papa Don to retain the UXW tag titles. Balls Mahoney defeated D'Lo Brown to retain the UXW world title. And in the main event, The Sandman defeated Raven in a Raven's Rules match with Mick Foley as ref. What a memorial show for Chris Candido, folks.
I know, right? Papalicious, man. They're over.
A sad but funny story. Dustin Rhodes worked an indie show over the weekend and saw all the young guys talk with his father. He joked that they were all doing so because Dusty had power and they were looking to break into TNA. Larry Zbyszko, who worked the show, had to tell Dustin, who was probably the only person in the dressing room who didn't know, that Dusty was no longer the booker of TNA.
Oh, no.
How the fuck?
Dusty!
AJ Styles never really had the full option of going to WWE, even though his contract was up. TNA had a 1-year option on his contract, and they exercised it.
Damn.
But they also offered him the new contract, which will keep him in TNA until September 2009.
Damn.
Several people were strong on not bringing DDP back after they had to negotiate for him to put over Monty Brown. TNA did some good news for some shows. They announced that their August 14th pay-per-view will be called Sacrifice.
Oh, my sacrifice.
TNA officials are in negotiations with Jim Mitchell. Because they run at Universal, they won't be allowed to do the devil gimmick, so he's going to be offered the Carnival Barker gimmick that he didn't like several months ago when they first negotiated.
He's like, motherfucker.
BT James vs. The Outlaw is no longer on for Slammiversary. Ron Killings will now be facing The Outlaw, and there will be an X Division 6-man match to open the show, though the names are not finalized. It is possible the face team will consist of Shocker, Sanjay Dutt, and Amazing Red. Hulk Hogan has talked with Scott D'Amore about coming to TNA.
Hulk Hogan!
He requested that he work a program with his buddy Ryan Wilson, a.k.a. Triton.
Triton!
Hogan has requested that they get Triton up and running strong so he can come in and put him over.
Bro, if Hogan and Triton went to war, I would have watched so hard.
Bro, what the fuck?
The Hulkster versus the Triton.
Dude, hey, Scott, brother. Yeah, I want to come work for your company, but on one condition. I want to lose to Triton, brother.
And they're like, we don't want to fucking rehire Triton. He ain't even here no more.
He's still here.
Oh, he's still part of the company at this point?
Yeah, he's still on the roster at this point. They just haven't used him. Christ's sake. CNA currently has no interest in Loki whatsoever.
Damn. Sucks.
He made a lot of enemies and said a lot of bad things about people in the company, including Jeff Jarrett and the booking committee. June 6th, Observer, at press time, the WGN deal has not and will not be signed. They were still hopeful of starting on June 20th, but with every day that goes by without a deal, that date may become even harder to get the schedule cleared. Hulk Hogan is looking to purchase a portion of TNA.
Oh? That seems like another Hogan lie.
Yeah. The May 31st tapings are canceled.
Damn it.
And TNA has announced that Dustin Rhodes has been released from the company.
Oh no, the Natural. Who wasn't a part of the
Moving
Naturals.
on. June 13th, Observer, Scott D'Amore is pushing to bring Simon Diamond back to the company. And over the weekend at a show in Italy, AJ Styles defeated Petey Williams to retain the NWA title.
Peter.
Final Observer issue here, June 20th. The mood amongst most in TNA has plummeted this past week when word got out that WGN had publicly announced negotiations were off with TNA. TNA sources are portraying it as they pulled out because of a better outside deal, which would most likely be the rumored negotiations with Spike TV on Saturday nights and would start after WWE leaves Spike in September. Dean Sharkboy Roll filed a lawsuit in federal court in Cincinnati against Dimension Films and Miramax Film Corporation for their movie The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lava Girl in 3D. Roll trademarked the Sharkboy name. He claimed in his lawsuit the movie threatens his future because Sharkboy in the movie is not a tough guy that would lend itself to a wrestling character. Taylor Lautner's a bitch.
He's a bitch.
One would expect the kind of money behind a major movie. The goal is more than likely to get a quiet settlement with a few bucks thrown its way.
They're like, here, take like $200, call it a day.
Oh, shell yeah. Chris Sabin was put over in one of the biggest junior tournaments, the annual Jeff Peterson Memorial Cup. The tournament brought talent from all over the country, including Ricky Reyes, Matt Sydal, Jimmy Rave, Delirious, James Gibson, a.k.a. Jamie Noble, Petey Williams, Mikey Batts, Jarrell Clark, and Sanjay Dutt. Sabin beat Delirious, Vordell Walker, Batts, and Sanjay Dutt to win the tournament.
Hey, Sanjay.
Yeah. There will be a TV taping on June 21st in Orlando. These tapings are to fulfill international TV commitments as well as to provide content for Explosion. They are working on a temporary idea to either buy time in major cities to air the show or put this air impact on TNA's website. TNA has announced that Samoa Joe has signed with the company.
Let's go.
The provisions is that they cannot pull him from any ROH shows, and he is allowed to do New Japan tours. TNA wanted to book Joe versus CM Punk for Slammiversary, but Punk turned them down and has officially signed with the WWE. Joe was leaning towards turning them down and also going to WWE, but ultimately signed, and he is scheduled to face Sanjay Dutt at Slammiversary. CM Punk said he wasn't going to sign with TNA because they wouldn't let him and Joe have their 45-minute plus classic at Slammiversary. And the reaction to that was, good luck in your 5-minute velocity matches, bro. TNA have also announced that they have signed Alex Shelley.
Yeah.
He's
Baby
back.
Bear.
And Amazing Red. Wow, not as big a pop.
I mean, listen, man, Puerto Rico's own. The Puerto Rican
Sean
sensation.
Waltman and his brother Crimson.
Let's go.
While Sean Waltman was scheduled to be the wild card in King of the Mountain, there's talks of making it a more surprising mystery person. Jerry Lynn is scheduled to return. And finally, Jim Mitchell has signed with TNA.
Yeah.
Wow, what a
Sinister Minister, baby.
What a fucking roller coaster. They went from thinking they had a TV deal to having no TV deal to
having no taping.
They had no TV whatsoever heading into the 2 weeks before pay-per-view.
Oh my god. Was that was that it all?
Yeah, that's all. That's it. That's
There
all the
we
Observer
go.
notes.
Well, I think it's time now to jump into TNA Slammiversary 2005. The date of this event was June 19th, not May 19th, June 19th, 2005. Yesterday, we were dreamers. The intros for these are probably my favorite part every month of the TNA guy. This one's cool because it shows like the cool history moments of TNA over the past couple years, including wrestlers' baby pictures. I definitely saw Jeff Jarrett in there because it was the only one that was in black and white. That old fucker.
That motherfucker, it's crazy that he still looks like how he looks here.
Full disclosure, we are reviewing this on a Wednesday of Dynamite, and Jeff Jarrett is wrestling on the show tonight on AEW. So
full disclosure, I just saw some crazy shit on Dynamite.
Yeah, me too. So we're told that Jeff Jarrett just completely lost it with Raven in the pre-show, and they battled in the ring. Security came, they had to break it up, and Jarrett's outside, and he's like, all right. And then he just grabs his fan behind him that's dressed like Jeff Hardy and tosses him onto the ground. The fan has like a Jeff Hardy armband and like arm paint, but for some reason this one fan is jacked. I thought it was real Jeff Hardy.
Can you blame him, man? Jeff suspended.
Can you blame me?
He was just trying to make sure that Jeff wasn't in the arena, man.
But listen, just, if that assault wasn't enough, Jeff Jarrett, he was arrested, Hoss. They put the locks on our boy.
Yeah, they arrested old Double J, and now he cannot compete in tonight's main event.
Yo, free Jarrett, free Jeff, my boy Jeff locked away.
You just fucking yo, imagine he's in a cop car, and instead of a normal cop siren, you hear the wee. Wee.
That's I need to see that made now. So we start off here with a 6-pack challenge, as they would call it in SmackDown, but here it's just a 6-pack. Oh no, did they call it 6-pack challenge? I think they did.
They did, but you also forgot a note here.
What?
After Jarrett was arrested, Larry Zbyszko then announced that Raven was added to the King of the Mountain match.
Correct. My apologies. Yes, Jeff Jarrett, Raven, who's been assaulting Larry Zbyszko. Larry put him in the match. Larry saw what was good in him and said, you know what, we'll put him in the match. Very
Big
shocking.
Asshole.
Yeah, he's like, he's a dickhead, but he'll bring in the fans.
So, to answer your question, they called this a 6-way X Division showcase.
On whatchamacallit, on the, what is that wrestling cage match, they called it a 6-pack match. So that's why I had a feeling. I didn't know if it was called 6-pack or what.
Yeah,
so,
I think my note here says they called it they might have at some point, but at least what I caught them call it was an X Division 6-man showcase.
Well, in this match, we now have the names of the competitors. Amazing Red is in this match, making his return.
Yes.
But also, Zach Gowen making his way into this match. Delirious from Ring of Honor.
Dude, it was so weird seeing Delirious here. I was so shocked. I was like, bro, this don't work.
Our boy, Mr. 630 himself, Jarrell Clark.
Bro, I dead ass thought we'd never see Jarrell on a pay-per-view again. I was so hyped when he came out. I was like, yo, my boy.
We see Elix Skipper rocking a cool beanie with his leather trench coat, which I thought was I liked how that looked for some reason. And fresh in the middle of his lawsuit, Shark Boy.
And they do not shut the fuck up about this lawsuit.
I know, right?
The first, fucking 3 minutes of this match, this is Mike Tenay talking about the lawsuit.
Listen, man, this is your usual X Division showcase. It's always a guaranteed W when you put this onto a pay-per-view. I was very happy to see Delirious from Ring of Honor in here. And I'm not going to be mad about Jarrell Clark. That's our boy. And the crowd loves him. Whenever he does something, they mark out for Jarrell Clark. Rightfully so.
I don't get why he didn't get a bigger spot, man. Like, every time we see him, it seems like he's over with the crowd, and he's good. Like, I don't understand why he just didn't go further than he did.
And he was doing stuff in this that, I've only seen in video games. I'll discuss it when we get to it. But before we get to that, though, Shark Boy, as we stated, is in a lawsuit with Shark Boy and Lava Girl, as they say on commentary. What a weird time in wrestling.
Bro, when they're talking, I never knew about this ever until this fucking watch through. I was like, bro, what? I was curious. Is this the catalyst of why he ends up doing the Stone Cold gimmick to kind of differentiate, or does that come later on?
I know that comes later on, like around like 06, 07. So he has a good amount of time where he's just regular Shark Boy after this.
Yeah, folks.
So
Here,
it's like,
he's not running the Stone Cold gimmick for folks who
yeah, he's just
are
plain
only,
old Shark Boy.
Yeah, he's just a fucking dude in a shark mask.
Yeah, and I will say though, I remember this when I was a kid. I remember like articles and like Entertainment Tonight or whatever talking about this. I remember like when they mentioned the lawsuit, I was like, holy shit, I remember this lawsuit. Like,
Yeah.
it unlocked a weird core memory in my head where I remember this Shark Boy lawsuit. But yeah, because I remember I was like, oh my gosh, Shark Boy won't be Shark. And of course, they talked about it a lot in Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I was reading those like all the time at Walmart and the Kmart's. But yeah, I gotta say though, hearing Don West mark out over Amazing Red this entire match, it's great knowing what happens in a few years when he becomes Amazing Red's heel manager. If I saw, like, for people that don't remember that, like, he eventually becomes Amazing Red's mouthpiece, but as a heel. But then Amazing Red goes out there and does this cool stuff, and the crowd cheers for him. So I never understood it. But
real quick, we're on the topic. Did you like Shark Boy and Lava Girl the movie?
as a kid, oh fuck yeah, dude, I love that movie.
Dude,
I was a big mark for Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I think I didn't see it in theaters, but I had it on DVD.
I
and
did.
It came with the 3D glasses and shit.
I saw it in 3D in
like-
the theaters, and then my parents bought me the 3D DVD because
But
I
then,
kept
like,
talking about it.
As I've gotten older, good God, it's so fucking corny. And
It's so corny.
The newer sequel where Shark Boy is not played by older Taylor Lautner is so dog shit.
Yeah, I didn't watch that, but I gotta say, because like growing up, I was a big Spy Kids fan, and it's written by the same people, and it's
Yeah.
filmed the same way. So I was like, it was just Spy Kids with. Plus, the whole premise of it was a kid that drew superheroes. So I was like, you know me. So as a kid who draws
Yeah.
superheroes, I was like, oh, this is right up my alley.
Of course.
So I love that movie. That movie was fucking goated. At least
was-
back in
it
the
was
day, it
good.
was.
Yeah, as a kid, it was very good.
As a kid, it was goated. Now it's like, it's alright. But yeah, Shark Boy and Elix Skipper are battling on the outside at one point, and Jarrell Clark does this like spinning top rope acai moonsault to them on the outside. So this is how you describe it. I've only seen it in wrestling games where they're standing inside the ring, they hold back the bounce, they get in the air, they turn in the air backwards, and then do the moonsault. But like he did it so perfect. I'm like, Jarrell? Did they never call him for like motion captures? Because this guy was so good.
I'm actually curious now.
And like the
I
crowd,
think-
when he
I
did
think
this, the
we-
crowd lost their shit. Like they went crazy for it.
I think we've done this before, but I'm curious. When was Jarrell Clark's last match? 2011.
I believe so. Yeah, I think it's yeah. And that one's on tape.
Yeah, it's for Believe Wrestling.
I could probably
Huh.
just ask him if he did any motion capture
Probably.
and get
He-
back
yeah,
on the
he
next
should,
podcast
bro.
episode.
he worked a lot in 2010, 2011. Then just
Yeah. Listen, man, Jarrell Clark was
Crazy.
tough, man. That dude was sick. Not even as a
Crazy,
joke. Like, he was
crazy,
good.
crazy.
People think we're kidding. No, this is real life.
When
Like,
is-
he's really good.
So I can prepare myself. When does he end with TNA here?
I think like at the end of 05, 06 maybe.
06. So we
06?
got a good another. It's like mid 06. So we got another good
Year with him.
year with him, but I don't know if he's on any more pay per views.
Damn.
Where he works with Ring of Honor too. Shit.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
But I got.
Clark, man.
But in the end, the best. In the end, though, Shark Boy. I didn't know if they call it the deep sea drop or the Dead Sea drop, so I wrote
Dead
both.
Sea drop.
Dead Sea, okay, because I heard Dead Sea, but then the second time I heard deep, and I'm like, all right, I don't know what they said, and I'm not rewinding. So I wrote deep Dead Sea drop. He hits that on
Shark Boy gets
Delirious.
torn the long way.
And our boy Shark Boy gets the big W on the pay-per-view. Brother, they are really capitalizing on this popularity due to the lawsuit.
Yeah, no. Once they started talking about the lawsuit for fucking 5 minutes, I was like, "There's no shot anybody else in this match wins."
But yeah,
This
so that was the
motherfucker's
six-pack
Shark Boy,
match.
bro. Of course, he pinned the fucking one motherfucker who doesn't work for the company. So
I know,
Good booking.
right?
good booking.
Yeah,
Good
keeps
idea.
your guys looking good. But then we go backstage here. Abyss is backstage, and he's looking in the mirror. He's like, looking in the mirror. And he's holding his chains, and he does his Abyss pose. And then he turns around, and he punches the glass. And he breaks it. And even commentary goes, "Oh my god!" Like that was very unnecessary.
uh, we didn't give any letter grades to that. What did you give the
Oh, I give that like
grade
a
for that
solid
first match?
C. Solid C. That's not
You
bad.
know,
That's just it's average. You know what I mean? I had a
I
fun
think
time watching it, but it wasn't anything special.
this might be the first time where I've given someone a higher rating than you have on this whole
Oh.
podcast. I wrote down uh, on the Hoss rating scale, I give this match a B minus.
Oh, okay.
I said it was very fun, but very spotty. And
Yeah.
for opening match, it reminded me of like WCW cruiserweight shit.
Yeah, that's why I said like it wasn't anything super special, super crazy. We got our big X Division stuff later in the night, so it was I was kind of comparing it to that, where it wasn't off the wall crazy, but it was still a lot of fun, and it did what it had to do, and the crowd liked it. So again, a C rating for me is not bad, not bad. But then, Shane Douglas is back, brother. Finally, I was so upset when Shane Douglas wasn't on the last show. Because every time he's on camera, he hits us with the ooh. And boy, is he on there a lot on this show. The first time we see him, though, he's here with Shocker. As you may know, from the famous McDonald's commercial. You couldn't turn on the TV, Austin, without seeing Shocker. Except for me, who watched TV as a child, and I never saw that commercial.
I was just going to ask you, did you know Shocker was in a McDonald's commercial?
No idea. But dude, Shocker looks straight out of the Filthy Animals. He's rocking 2001 Rey Mysterio gear with the overalls with like the graffiti on it, the fucking sunglasses with the beanie. Like he's just dressed like 2001 Rey Mysterio, and I don't know why. This is very out of nowhere. He wants to prove that he's the best Mexican luchador in the world, but he's interrupted by the baby bear, Alex Shelley, who, as we heard earlier, re-signed with the company. And this boy looks straight out of the Matrix. He's got his black sunglasses, a really tight black leather trench coat. And he lists off all the wrestling styles he can do, including MMA. He claims to have a counter for everything and calls out Shocker. He tells Shocker he's been watching his tapes and he knows how to reverse everything he can do. Shane Douglas, and then he leaves after challenging Shocker. And Shane Douglas tells Shocker says something in Spanish. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, en inglés, por favor. And he makes him translate. And what he said, like, in English was definitely way less than what he said in Spanish. I can guarantee you that. Because he was talking in Spanish for like 2 minutes, and then he's like translated to English, and he's like, "I'm gonna win tonight." It's like, no, it's not what you said.
That's like when fucking Rey Mysterio goes, "Oh, you see coming, oh, that means yes."
Which then flows into our next match here, our next contest here on the pay-per-view Slammiversary. Alex Shelley taking on the Shocker, and Alex Shelley. This boy gets a very loud welcome back chant from the crowd. They missed Alex Shelley.
This man has the beard of like every white 30-year-old man in 2000.
Dude, Shelley is the most 2000s wrestler. He's the most 2000s wrestler ever.
He looks like the fucking lead singer of Smash Mouth.
So yeah, both guys, they move quickly in this match. This is a very quick match. They're doing a lot of reversals to start off the match. At one point, Shelley gets on his knees, and he's begging Shocker, doing the Ric Flair thing, like, okay, don't hit me anymore. Don't hit me anymore. And then he goes, wait, he puts his finger up. And then he leans down and he kisses Shocker's boot for some reason. And then he gets up and cheap shops him. And even Don West is like, all right, that was a little, you didn't need to do that. Like, why are you embarrassing yourself?
Like, a lot of pre-Motor City Machine Gun Alex Shelley is him just kind of, just trying to be a little different.
Yeah, trying to find his spot.
Cool. Sometimes it's this.
Well, the crowd in this match, as I stated earlier, they love Shelley. Shocker at one point reverses his dive to the outside and then like beats on Shelley, and he taunts to the crowd, and they boo the shit out of the Shocker. They do not like Shocker. They love Alex Shelley in this match. And like they're doing the let's go Shelley, let's go Shocker, but the Shocker chants are very quiet.
Yeah, it's a shame because from what we've seen so far, Shocker's good, man.
Yeah, like he's not a bad wrestler. It's just they just don't like him.
Yeah, I mean,
Not everyone's a home run.
Alex Shelley's a more OG guy here in TNA, so
Yeah.
I can understand the loyal fans of TNA wrestling
Yeah. I also
liking
I
their
feel like
boy.
they loved a lot more of the TNA fans gravitate more towards the American indie scene at the time more than international guys. I think the only international guy they really gravitated towards was Garza. Hector Garza.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that TNA fans in specific just didn't like outsiders in general, international or not. Like they kind of
Yeah.
like there are some exceptions. Like we'll see later, Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Like he's a big exception, but like a lot of outsiders, like Delirious, like he out of that 6-man match earlier, Delirious probably the least over out of the entire group there with the
Yeah.
crowd.
But I will say that does turn around when they do like the X Cup, like the World X Cup and stuff like that. That does turn around. The fans start gravitating more to international guys, but I feel like that time of TNA was like peak Mark,
I think
indie sheet era guys too.
I
So
think what's going to help with a lot of that, especially around that area you're talking about. Spoiler alert, folks! TNA does end up going to Spike TV. When that happens, I feel like Spike TV has a lot more of a like eyes on it than Fox Sports Network. So I think
yeah,
fans being able to see the showcase and build up of everything more will help because I feel like a lot of fans they kind of just went to these shows because they were in Universal and they can get into a wrestling show versus later on we'll see a lot more like legitimate fans.
yeah, that go to every shows. You see regulars every time and all that.
Yeah.
Like the TNA towel guy that starts showing up. Well,
Like
as you mentioned, as you mentioned that though, Hoss. By the way, Mike Tenay loudly exclaims that tonight will be the TNA debut of the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. Hopefully, I sounded like Mike Tenay there.
Kind of. It was like, yeah, I give it a C+.
Hey, I'll take that. It's better than an F. I'll take it. So yeah, we get told Samoa Joe's debuting tonight. I get real fucking excited. My nips get hard like daddy magic.
we're getting close to peak era of TNA here.
Yes,
You can start to see a lot of the seeds planted for the era that we're real
excited for.
Big time for TNA.
But in the end, though, Shocker kicks out of all Alex Shelley's pinfall attempts. The crowd boos every time he kicks out. Then he just ties up Shelley with like a crazy modified small package and wins. And the crowd is fucking pissed. They are booing loudly when Shocker wins.
Yeah, they were.
But this match is all right. I don't know if I have a grade for it. I probably put it like again also like a C minus. I wasn't probably C minus because I wasn't as into it as the opener.
So folks, let me refresh with the fact that I watched this show damn near 3 months ago. So the reviews I have written down here are just kind of I'm taking what I wrote down for everything it means here because I don't know what's going on for the most part. So I wrote down B minus. I said I liked this match. It was all over the place, but in the best ways. I liked Shocker. 3 months ago,
Yeah.
me really liked Shocker. I even wrote down he's awesome.
That's awesome.
But yeah, this is good. It was good. It's nice to have Alex Shelley back. I mean, when I was younger, I liked Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, but I didn't really get into either of them super big until they end up forming their tag team like 3 years down the line from here.
Yeah.
But
this is like limbo Shelley. I will say this: we're gonna be like in limbo Alex Shelley for a little bit until we get to, online influencer Shelley before being an online influencer was cool.
Yeah, but Alex Shelley's good. He's solid in the ring every match. So although his character might not always be the best, he's a solid in ring worker, and I like Shocker. So this is a good match, and I don't know how much more of Shocker we have because I know he didn't stick around here long, but I hope we get a few more of his matches at least.
Number 5 of the 5 greatest moments in TNA history.
You gotta counting down the top 5 moments in TNA history. Number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5. AJ Styles wins the NWA World Championship for the first time in June of 2003. Yeah. That was the number 5 greatest moment in TNA history.
Fair.
Ooh, Shane Douglas is backstage interrogating. I said interrogating because he was not asking them questions. This man was just hammering. He needed answers from 3 Live Crew, and eventually BG James just grabs the mic. He's like, listen here, Shane Douglas. No offense, but this doesn't involve you. And he takes the microphone and pushes him away. But he asked them before he's pushed away. He asked 3 Live Crew where their heart is, and then Conan just starts screaming at BG James, asking where his loyalty's at. And BG has done some soul searching, he says recently. He says his home is where the heart is. And 3 Live Crew, quote, is B Jizzle's home. He says that his actions tonight will prove where his loyalties lie. And then he's like, come on, guys. Come on, guys. He puts his knuckle out for a knuckle bump. He's like, come on. Come on. Truth? Come on. Conan, come on. And they're all hesitant.
All of this in his voice.
And then they're all really hesitant. And then they just eventually knuckle bump him. He's like, all right.
And then fucking hate BG James. BG James is the worst part of every one of these shows.
I'm going to say something in this next match that's going to make you start questioning everything that I know. So our next match, of course, is Ron Killings versus the Outlaw. I'm gonna put this out there. I was half interested in this match. I did not really give a shit about R-Truth versus Billy Gunn.
When the video package leading into the match had the same like backtracking as the last 2 pay-per-views, like you had the fucking 3 Live Crew theme playing in the whole video package.
We're the 3 Live Crew.
3 Live Crew. I'm gonna beat you up, BG. 3 Live Crew. Fuck you, Outlaw.
Austin, I've come to the conclusion on something. Based on the intricacies of this story, the longevity of this story, how its cross paths it has into the main event scene on some pay-per-views, was the 3 Live Crew story with the Outlaw TNA's bloodline?
No. Don't you fucking dare. Ever.
Listen. Billy is the Roman, okay? BG he's the J. And then we have the rest of the 3 Live Crew are the other Usos.
Is just one other.
And they're trying to figure out where does he lie? Where's his loyalties lie? And is he gonna stay with his boy, or is he gonna go to the big dog, Billy Gunn?
I say this with every fiber of my being. I know Ajax jokes and calls me a WWE mark, and I'm not actually, but I say this with every ounce of my being. Don't you ever fucking say that shit again. This is the worst storyline that is constantly run for every show that we have reviewed.
Well, listen, like I said, I was so half interested in this match, I skipped it. So then I went to the end.
Do you need me to run down some spots here?
Yeah, just some spots. I have notes for what happens at the end and the finish.
Okay. They headlock.
Nice.
Truth gets taken down. They
you know who else does a headlock? Roman Reigns.
Nope. They headlock.
He does a lot of headlocks.
Again. Missile dropkick from Killings. Outlaw does a stinger splash and misses. Then he goes to get some water after he punches Truth in the dick.
You know who pours water on their hair?
Nope.
Roman Reigns.
They go out to the floor, and Billy Gunn throws R-Truth into some metal objects. They fight.
You know who threw Kevin Owens into some metal objects?
Nope. Shut up.
Roman Reigns.
God damn it. Billy Gunn hits the Fame-Asser.
You know who does the Fame-Asser?
But he won't cover Truth. He does a Cobra Clutch Slam. Boy, that's to do a roll-up, and R-Truth wins.
In the flattest finish of all time.
Yep.
Even the commentary goes, is it a 3? And the music plays, and they go, yeah, it is.
Before you get to the post-match, I gave this match a D+.
I agree.
This was a TV match, and nothing significant happened. And I put this Truth, BG, and Outlaw storyline needs to fucking end.
Well, guess what? We got some more time with it.
Dude, the worst part is I know this shit doesn't end till like 2009.
Well, listen, after Truth rolls him up for the 3, listen, man, Outlaw's not going to lose to R-Truth without getting his heat back, bro. This is like EWR. He's not going to be happy. You got to give him his heat back. So, of course, after the match, he attacks R-Truth. He goes outside. This big-ass dude grabs a chair, and he goes in the ring to hit Ron Killings. But the 3 Live crew come out, and BG swipes the chair away, and he has it, and he's about to hit Outlaw. And Outlaw looks at him, and he turns around, gives him his back, and he's like, go ahead, hit me. Go ahead, if you want to do it, hit me. And as he's hesitating, the crowd's like, fucking do it. BG James doesn't want to do it. So Conan slides into the ring and just clocks Outlaw. He clocks Outlaw on the back of the head, grabs the chair, and Outlaw runs. Oh my god, I forgot about that. And he snatches the chair from BG, and he's angry as fuck. He's angry as fuck, and then he's like, why would you do that? Like, why are you, no, sorry. He's more like, why didn't you hit him? Like, you had his back. And he's like, I don't know. Because we were in WWF. I don't know. And then Conan, that man, sticks his fist out, and he's like, come on, knuckle bump me. Like earlier, come on, we're friends. And then BG walks away. But he doesn't walk out with anyone. He leaves through the crowd, and they say that he leaves the arena.
You know who else walked through the crowd? Roman Reigns. And Jey Uso.
But anyways, number 4 greatest moment in TNA history. Raven debuting in TNA in January of 2003. And it was cool looking Raven with like the blonde hair, the fucking jeans, the leather jacket. It's pretty cool, man. Well, now we're backstage. Ooh, Shane Douglas backstage with Team Canada. Bobby Roode, he just trashes Lance Hoyt on the mic and tells him to prepare to become Canadianized. I don't know if he's going to take advantage of Lance Hoyt, but I think Lance Hoyt should come out with a police officer.
They quote Rocky. Well, Scott D'Amore quotes Rocky 3 here. He says, the Naturals, they fight great, but Team Canada are great fighters.
And listen, little Petey, he calls out the Naturals. He says the only thing natural about them is that their losing streak begins tonight. And then we're told that the Naturals, as we learned earlier, have a new legendary advisor in their corner. Ooh, who could it be? So Scott D'Amore, of course, says next that when you think of great leaders, you think of Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini. And when it comes to pro wrestling, you think of D'Amore.
He did compare himself to Hitler and Stalin.
And Mussolini, 3 of the most hated dictators in history.
That's absolutely a thing that happened on this show, yes.
And then he does into the mic.
Yo, why is Scott D'Amore so awesome?
Even in 2023.
To this day, yeah.
Well, that flows right into our next match here. It's the tag team title match. The Naturals, the champions, taking on Team Canada with Scott D'Amore. Representing Team Canada who is back in Team Canada, Eric Young in 2023, and Petey Williams,
who is not in Team Canada.
Who is not.
He's retired in 2023.
Who is currently in WWE as a producer.
You know who is back in Team Canada in 2023?
Roman Reigns.
No, A1.
Who is Roman Reigns of 2005? No kidding. Don West calling Scott D'Amore a piece of Canadian bacon was funny.
Yep.
They were body shaming the fuck out of him tonight, and it was hilarious.
Dude, they love fucking fat shaming Scott D'Amore.
The Naturals.
And listen, I love Don West, but Don West ain't too far off.
And listen, the Naturals come out, by the way, and I'm like, oh, who's the advisor? We don't know who it is yet. We have to wait. You'll learn soon, though. I did think this was pretty interesting, though, that a couple times in this match, the Naturals do use heel tactics, like attacking when the ref's distracted. But
yeah,
in a way, it worked, and like the crowd was cheering for it, and I'm like, I've never seen that done successfully. like they're
still,
playing it smart.
They haven't changed their characters.
No,
all.
but they're just
They're
faces.
still heels, but they're like presented. They're heels being booked against heels, but like
I
the
think
heels they're booked
commentary.
against.
Don
Like,
West said it perfect on commentary that they know ways. I think his quote was, "They know that sometimes the quickest way to win is the best way to win," and he says that they're not strangers to cheating in the past. So I think it's like,
AKA, we don't know what the fuck we're booking.
like I think they want them to be faces, but I don't know if they're still. It's confusing, but I also kind of liked it because it worked, and I was like, okay. Because listen, I think in my mind it's logical. If the ref's back's turned, why fucking not? Why not help out your partner? You know what I mean? But yeah, so the ref's distracted by Andy Douglas, and A1 just starts beating the living shit out of Chase Stevens. And Mike today's losing his shit about it. He's like, "What? When will they learn? Stop having them out here." And I'm like, "Yeah, Mike, honestly."
Tell Professor.
And dude, this continues on as Team Canada holds the advantage for like the whole match. Like the whole match. And they beat on Chase Stevens for like years out there. And finally he gets the hot tag to Andy Douglas, and the crowd actually pops really loud for it. Like they jump out of their seats when he tags into Andy Douglas.
Before the hot tag, there's one spot that I mentioned here that's pretty funny.
What was it?
Eric Young gets Chase Stevens into a tree of woe.
Oh.
Petey Williams comes in and stands on his dick and sings "Oh Canada."
Yes, that is the greatest ever. I love that spot. Oh man, he did that for a while. I think he still did it when he was in TNA in his last run too. Yeah.
Awesome.
But Petey goes for the Canadian Destroyer. He does the whole thing where he reels him in. He's gonna hit the Canadian Destroyer. No one's kicked out of the Canadian Destroyer. He's wheeling him in. But then Andy Douglas is handed a megaphone from their new legendary advisor, Daddy Jimmy Hart's here. Yes, the man who was the manager for the Mega Powers for Hulk Hogan. He is now the manager for the Naturals. And this man, he clocks.
Oh wait,
Petey gets clocked in the back of the head. Petey gets clocked in the back of the head, and the Naturals retain the tag titles with the help of their new legendary advisor, Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Good. The Jimmy Hart thing was kind of out of nowhere, but all right. But yeah, I gave this a C+. I thought it was a good formulaic tag team match.
Yeah.
All the guys are good. Team Canada's good heels. You're not gonna like this statement, but I don't care about the Naturals, but they're decent in the ring.
I'm gonna need you to take that back.
Don't care about the Naturals.
I'm gonna need you to take that back right now.
I can't.
I'm gonna need you to take that back right now. I'm gonna edit that. We're gonna crop that out. But yeah.
Anytime I see the Naturals, in my head is.
Nah, man, never. Listen, whenever I see the Naturals, you know what pops through my head, Hoss?
Yep, that's what I was gonna play.
Loser. Me whenever Raven's on a pay-per-view and loses a match.
Me anytime I get to see Shark Boy.
Oh yeah. But yeah, what do you give this match, Hoss?
C+.
Yeah, solid. I give it the same thing. Number 3 greatest moment in TNA history. Whoopsh. And it's the wrestling's first all-cage pay-per-view a couple months ago. Lockdown.
It's the number 3 moment is the entire pay-per-view. Which, by the way, we didn't give a great review to.
No. When they showed it, I was like, really? Was that pay-per-view only like 2 months ago?
Yeah, it was like 2-3 months ago, and the only match that we really enjoyed was AJ Styles versus Abyss. Besides that, we were let down by the rest.
The rest of the show. Ooh, Shane Douglas is all over this show as he's now backstage with Sean Waltman. And Waltman, I gotta say, in 05, still in good shape, man. Actually, great shape. He's still built like how he was in 02. He has his straps down. He's still got no pun intended, a six-pack. But his promo, by the way, was a little all over the all over the place. And I'm going to be honest, he sounded a little under the influence during this promo. I don't know. He was like, my friends, they like the party. I'm like, what are you talking about, Sean?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? But it's time for a legendary moment in TNA history. This is the greatest, one of the greatest moments ever. It is time for the debut of the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. And I'm gonna be honest. I forgot in his debut he didn't have the intro of his song. He has just like the later part of the song.
He has.
It's the same song, but no
yeah,
intro.
It doesn't have the. Yeah, he doesn't have that. He's in good shape here. Well,
not even a towel. He doesn't have the towel as well.
Yeah, he kind of, honestly, looked jobbery coming out.
But as we said it earlier, this crowd loves the U.S. Indies, and Joe gets a large pop, and they're very excited for Samoa Joe.
And they actually mentioned Ring of Honor on commentary.
Yes,
they weird to hear.
They mentioned that he's actually the current reigning and defending pure champion in Ring of Honor,
yes.
And he's only lost one match in his career at this point, and it's only that because he lost the world title in Ring of Honor. That's the only match he lost.
Get ready for a year and a half of no Joe losses here.
And listen, I loved it. And listen, in this match, he hits all the moves you'd expect. The rapid-fire punches in the corner, the Uranagi in the corner to Sanjay. By the way, totally dropped him on his neck, and the replay of it looked even worse. I was like, oh my God. The crowd was like, oh, and Don West was like, ah!
Yeah, the first, like 3 or so minutes of this match is all Samoa Joe.
It's his greatest hits, yeah. But then they do hit us with a little bit of a Sanjay, like, comeback for a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, he reverses something from Joe and sends him out to the floor, and from there we get like a nice little 2-minute Sanjay Dutt dash.
Yeah, and listen, Joe does eventually do his face washes in the corner. He nails Sanjay with the running one at the end, right in the nose. And I said it here, dude, the crowd loves Joe so much, and the commentary is just putting him over hard as like the next big thing, and I love it. I do want to say, though, I know they wanted to show that like Sanjay had heart. He was fighting back. But I think maybe it might have made Joe look a little better if he destroyed Sanjay in a little quicker time. Because they're putting him over as this monster, but as they're doing that, Sanjay's like doing pinfall attempts and taking him out, and I'm like, I think that's just hindsight, though. Like when you're building a monster, you wanna, kind of have him destroy someone.
Yep.
And I think the crowd would have loved that. They would have ate that up because they already know Sanjay. He's an established person, and then Joe just comes in and destroys him. That would really send a message. But in the end, though, Joe positions Sanjay on the top rope. Sanjay tries to fight back, but Joe does that cool-ass, Pele kick, nails him with the muscle buster, followed immediately by a rear naked choke, and just taps out Sanjay Dutt, and the crowd's just they love this shit. I love this. This was a B+.
So I gave the match a C, but I gave the debut of Samoa Joe a B+.
Yes. I think that might have been what I was basing this off of, was the moment.
Because like you said, I think Sanjay got a little bit too much in this match. But
yeah.
It was still a good debut, and it did what it had to do to introduce Samoa Joe to TNA fans. So, yeah, it was good. Fun.
It is now time for my favorite part of this whole show. We're backstage with Raven. And he starts off his promo. I don't even know what he compared it to. I just noted what he said. He says that he'd rather hug a suicide bomber. And then he says, then blank. And I was laughing, so I didn't hear a word he said after. He says that fate has opened her bosom for him. He says that he will ride his chariot of vengeance and crush the bones of those who have wronged him under. He wants to leave the competitors' wives, widows, and parents childless. And then I quoted the next line here. He says,
I quoted.
He says, if an autopsy was to be performed after the match tonight, the coroner's report would say that my opponents expired due to hatred and anger, and from sheer force of will, because I am a human cancer, and the only way to stop my malignancy is by killing the host.
This is your new top babyface, folks.
These get more and more unhinged every month. But the biggest note that I have here, by the way, off topic real quick, shout out to the man that beat up Raven in the opener, Jeff Jarrett, on TV currently as we're recording this right now. So I guess, look who won that one, Raven, huh? But then I will say, a big note of this, I love that Raven's back to his ECW/WCW gear. He's back to like the band tees, the jean shorts, the regular boots, the taped up hands. He's not wearing the dress no more. He's no longer shirtless. It's old Raven again, and I like that. I like old Raven, so. What a promo. It was a roller coaster. Next match, singles match. Bobby Roode takes on Lance motherfucking Hoyt. Bro, I don't know if you remember this when you watched it the first time, but Lance Hoyt's wearing a beanie, right? He's wearing the beanie so low, it's covering his entire eyes. And when he walks out, his head is to the sky because he can't see. And it's like, imagine him walking out angrily, but his nose is to the air because he has to look under the beanie, but he doesn't want to move it off of his eyes. Just don't wear it like that, Lance. Just show your eyes. I gotta say, 2005 Lance Hoyt is everything that, like, 2001 WWF wanted Test to be. The crowd loves him. He's a good wrestler. He has, like, in-ring charisma to get the crowd hyped, like doing the claps and all that, the hand signs. He's got the facial expressions. And looking at this match, it's like a TNA version of Test versus Triple H, honestly, with Bobby Roode and Lance Hoyt. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you remember this, but I believe there's people in the front row wearing Hoytomania shirts, which I now want. It's like a black shirt with white font with like a red outline, and I need it. If not, I'm going to remake it and sell it on my own. I love how the Hoyt goes to the top rope to do the 10 punches, and it's like the Ichiban thing where every punch they go, Hoyt, Hoyt, Hoyt. Hoyt then goes to do a top rope. He goes to the top rope, and he's teasing doing a moonsault. But the more that goddamn Scott D'Amore today's just like, get him out of here! God damn it! He's a nuisance. It's just fat. He holds onto his feet, leading to Robert Roode grabbing him for a huge power bomb. But Hoss, it's only a 2 count, and the crowd has faith in their boy, Lance Hoyt. Their boit, Lance Hoyt. But then Scott D'Amore, for like the millionth time on this show, interferes, causing Roode to hit the clothesline to the back of the head of Hoyt for the 3 count. They make Lance Hoyt lose when he's over as fuck. But it's for a reason, Hoss. It's for a reason. Before we get into the post-match, did you have any big notes?
So how you were with the Killings and Outlaw match, I'd care.
I loved me some Lance Hoyt.
I gave this match my lowest rating of the night with a D-.
I will say, I was a huge Lance Hoyt mark, and to this day, unable to find his TNA figure. It is so rare because everyone bought it and no one's selling it.
I like Bobby Roode. I like Lance Hoyt. Didn't like this match. I don't know.
I feel like this match happened just for the post-match. I feel like it was all about the post-match angle. So what happens after the match? D'Amore grabs a microphone, and he reminds us how he told Hoyt that he was going to get a painful lesson. And he says, school's not out yet. So Roode, he's beaten down. D'Amore slaps Hoyt, and as he's slapping Hoyt, he rises to his feet. And he gets in Scott D'Amore's face, but Roode, again, cuts him down, just knocks him out to the ground. The crowd's booing. They're chanting for Hoyt loudly. D'Amore takes his glasses off. He takes his watch off, and Don West goes, I hope that's all he takes off. The second he says that, D'Amore proceeds to take his shirt off. He goes to the top rope, and Don West is going, oh my God, put the kids away. We don't want to traumatize them. And then D'Amore, he goes for a moonsault and misses the moonsault. Yeah. And when he hits the mat, Mike Tenay goes, look at that whale flop. Dude, they're just going to town on him in this show. So
Yeah,
Hoyt
praised the whole night.
Hoyt nails a big boot before grabbing D'Amore by the pants and exposes his ass cheeks. And Don West goes, "Oh my God, this is the worst thing in TNA's history." He was like, "This is
Number one.
He literally goes, "Oh, this is disgusting." And the crowd is going apeshit for Lance Hoyt. Like, it's like sensory overload. There's so much shit going on. Hoyt finally hits the moonsault on the Scott D'Amore to perfection. And Tenay goes, "Whoa!" when he hits it. And he, like, loses his voice when doing it. And as D'Amore is being put on the stretcher, Lance Hoyt leaves because Team Canada comes out. And logically, they said on commentary, you're dumb to think you don't have the numbers advantage. So he leaves the ring, and the crowd's cheering for him. They're putting D'Amore on a stretcher, and commentary's still just going in. Tenay goes, "Can that hold 300 pounds?" And Don goes, "300? That's being nice." And Tenay immediately responds, "That's about 350 pounds of Canadian back bacon being put onto that stretcher." And eventually they cut to the back to our next segment, but this whole thing was just, my favorite part was the commentary going in. This whole segment was the greatest moment in TNA history, I'm going to be honest. I will relive this moment forever, and I forgot any of this happened, and I'm happy I was reminded about it. It made my whole day. Number two. Oh, sorry?
I was saying, number two.
Yeah, sorry.
It's the guy who's suspended.
The number two moment in TNA history, Jeff Harvey, debuts in TNA in June of 2004. It's been a year of Jeff Hardy, and he's not even here.
To the top.
Yeah, Modest is in rehab.
Yeah, modest. Saying that Jeff Hardy is a TNA legend on this night in particular is absolutely modest.
We then get a video package for the tag match up next that shows the cracks forming in both AMW and the 3 Live crew. Is this the first time we've got a match where both teams are dysfunctional? And when Mike Tenay says, "Can they coexist?" it's about both teams that are real teams? I've never seen that before.
You're missing before this match in the video package. We get a little interview with AJ Styles.
Oh, we do.
NWA
yes.
World Champion. He says tonight he might as well be a challenger in the King of the Mountain match. It's a huge opportunity. That's it. That's all he said.
That was spot on.
No DQ.
And I don't know if this has to do with the storyline going on, but this match is a lot like the Outlaw match. I didn't give a shit.
I also did not give a flying fuck.
I
saw that we were getting more BG James, I screamed.
Well, I just know that at one point, Outlaw comes out, and him and Conan bet on the outside, and BG goes for a tag, but Conan's not there because he's just fucking dick obsessed with the Outlaw. He just won't hop off his dick. And it leaves him alone. I said, quote, alone and prone. I don't know why I said that. For AMW's finish. In AMW, they can coexist for the win. And I was incorrect earlier. This is when Conan tries to console BG, apologizing, putting his fist out. But this is where BG leaves the building, siding with no one. So the question still remains on everyone's mind, Hoss. Whose side is he on? Whose side is he on?
I don't care. I don't care who Jesse James teams with. Matter of fact, I don't care if Jesse James even has a fucking job.
This match is getting a crisp D+ from me.
This also got a crisp D+ from me.
Oh my god! Wait, Hoss, as we speak, by the way, to give people a little bit of real-time action, Jeff Jarrett's in a segment with Jeff Hardy in real life.
Oh my god.
TNA wins, brother. Let's go. Let's go. All right, now it's time, Hoss, for the number one greatest moment.
Number one.
This is, at the time, the number one greatest moment in TNA history, and I will go on record to say this is still the greatest moment in TNA history to this day. It has not been topped, and is the primetime Elix Skipper walking the cage at Turning Point 2004. I mean, let's be honest. Nothing has beaten that. They still show that in video packages. That's still like the biggest moment of that's their Mankind falling off the cage. That's their greatest moment of all time.
If there's any like moment that's better, but I'll say that for sure it's the greatest spot in TNA history.
Yeah, if they were to make this list of like the greatest moments in TNA history, I think that would still be number one. Whoosh. Number one.
It's definitely up there. Like I feel like I'd have to think if there were any better moments, I'd have to like go and actually think about it.
But it is time now for the co-main event, Toss. X Division title 3-way elimination match. Yes, it is a elimination. For this, it is Christopher Daniels, the champion, taking on Michael Shane with Tracy, taking on Chris Sabin with Trinity. And we are told that while Tracy and Michael Shane have a thing going on, Chris Sabin, well, by the way, Sabin in the video package was like, I can't trust another woman after that. And then Trinity's like, you want to team up? And he's like, sure. So Sabin's a simp, confirmed. But he does say it is just strictly business. There's no sexual things happening.
To know, Trinity is barely wearing any clothes here.
Brother. To start this off, by the way, when Tracy comes out with Michael Shane, they come out first. I love Don West and Mike Tenay. They're talking about how evil Tracy is. They're just saying like, oh, she's horrible. She turned on Sabin. She's the worst. And then Don West under his breath goes, quote, Tracy looking good tonight. I was like, bro, what? This man was horny on Maine.
Maybe I'm thinking about Tracy. Was Tracy wearing like the barely black?
Tracy was. Well, this is where I was like when he said it, because Tracy was wearing like the suit with her cleavage out.
Okay, so I was right with Trinity.
My own Trinity, my girl, my long-term relationship, Trinity. Oh my God, bro. She goes into my personal Hall of Fame.
To describe what Trinity is wearing here, it's nothing.
It is like literally. It's only covering the things you can't show on TV. That's all it's covering.
Like, there's a little bit of black cloth covering her titties.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of black cloth covering her vagina.
And her
but
ass.
Besides that, there's nothing. There is nothing.
The sides are completely exposed to just little strings. You can see, like, the complete side of her ass. And it was phenomenal.
Gabe said, fuck the side boob, but that side ass.
Listen, man. I've been saying this since we started this podcast many moons ago. Trinity's my girl. Since she showed up on that first episode, she stole my heart. She is a nice Italian woman, and I want to interview her on here.
Interview her?
I want to interview her. She's like, I'm getting nervous. I'm sweating right now, man. She got me breathing heavy. And as soon as this match started, we're told it's elimination. So I wrote, let's see how many pin attempts are broken up, even though they say it's elimination rules. And I swear to God, the minute I hit the period on that sentence, Daniels goes for a modified Koji clutch submission on Sabin, and Michael Shane breaks it up. And I was like, bro, are you fucking serious? And then commentary tries to save it. They're like, oh, well, he knew he wasn't going to tap out. No, he didn't. He doesn't know that for jack shit. All three of these guys, though, they work great. They work really well in this match together. It's literally the top three, I think, right now in the X Division outside of AJ Styles. Just going out there. It's a fun X Division match. The dives were great in this. There was one cool dive from Sabin where he does a complete flip over the top rope onto Daniels, and the crowd loved it. Sabin especially looked really impressive in this match. He always looks impressive, coming out looking good in it. Sabin goes to hit the ropes at one point, but Tracy grabs his foot, and he trips. So Michael Shane goes, I'm going to hit the ropes now. And when he hits the ropes, Trinity grabs his foot the same way, and he falls. So the two ladies say, fuck that. So they go into the ring, and it's a chop fest, and I'm real scared and excited for Trinity's gear that something's going to pop out during this chop fest. Because then they start doing like a cat fight. I'm like, please. No. But then, like, they roll around on the ground. They do the thing. And soon after, Sabin grabs Michael Shane for a cradle shock. So Daniels grabs Trinity and gets her set up for an Angel's Wings. And Sabin looks at her and then proceeds to hit the cradle shock on the Michael Shane, getting a pinfall. And after the 3 count, that is when Christopher Daniels hits Trinity with the Angel's Wings for no reason.
Because he's evil.
And this is where it's shown that because of this, that proves that Sabin has no relation with Trinity. This was strictly business. He did what he had to do because now he is in the final 2 for the X Division title. Trinity's out the picture. Shane's out the picture. So now it's just down to Sabin and Daniels. And the crowd is heavily split, actually, on them. They're cheering for both. There's not one person getting cheered more than the other. Daniels does hit the BME, and Sabin kicks out. And Daniels looks distraught about it, and the crowd's going crazy. And the rest of the match is kind of a battle for who can get an advantage, right? When one guy gets the advantage, the other one cuts him off. But Daniels is able to sneak away with an Angel's Wings for the win. And what I think was probably my favorite match of the night. I enjoyed this heavily. And on this card, this match gets an A for me. I had a great time with this. And it had a story still with it. I loved it.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
I think it's remiss to say that at this time, at least on a rewatch, Christopher Daniels is probably the best wrestler in the world, at least in TNA.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's anybody in 2005. Nah, well, Kurt Angle could be argued at this time.
And I think only AJ, maybe.
I would say Daniels is even better than AJ at this point, honestly, in my opinion.
Okay.
That's in my opinion there. I'd say the only person in 2005 that could hold a candle to Chris Daniels, it would be AJ Styles and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle 05 to 06 is on another fucking level.
Yeah,
but,
Perk, baby.
We're gonna get that soon here.
Can't wait for Perk Angle.
Year. Yeah, this match is fun. Fast paced, exhibition match. Daniels is great. Chris Sabin was very good. As I said, I don't really, as a kid, I didn't really get into Sabin and Shelley until they were a team. But Chris Sabin on a rewatch is very, very good. Very
I was
nice.
a huge Sabin mark at this time, but I was like a diehard fan of Chris Sabin. When he started rocking, when he dyed his hair blonde, cut it, and started rocking like the alien gear, and he turned heel, which is gonna happen soon. That's when I was like, oh my fucking, and he came out to 311, like, oh my god, this is my fucking dude.
heel Chris Sabin is a lot more interesting, and he's a lot easier of a watch than Alex Shelley for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Time, but it was a good match. Daniels is good, Sabin's good. It's always nice to look about Tracy and Trinity.
Yeah.
Michael Shames is kind of there, but yeah, I would have been. Storyline wise, it made sense why he was there, but I would have been okay if this was just Daniels versus Chris Sabin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did not go as high as you did. I gave this match a B+.
Okay. That's about where it's just a little lower because I had A, so not too much off. This is just an observation. Since we've been watching this since TNA debuted the Six-Sided Ring, and was on Spike, Sabin was huge. Like, he was built when we started watching it. He has slimmed down a bit. Eddie has passed away by now, right?
No.
Eddie's still alive.
Away. We're June 05, so Eddie passes away in about 5 months.
Oh, he passed away in November? Why did I think it was the summer he passed?
No, he passed away the week before Survivor Series.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I'm not saying Sabin was juicing, but he is slimming down a bit.
I'm sure. We're
This is 05. I think a lot of people, if he was, we're not saying he was, I think a lot of people were at this time. Maven admitted he was in 05.
We're past the time of a lot of people getting popped for steroids and drug use. So it's very possible. But
and listen, that was the look. That's what you needed to do to get like signed to places.
Yeah, Eddie's heart attack happens in about 5 months, and I think when we get to the November or December show, that there are some mentions of Eddie.
Yeah,
and obviously with the Observer knows, we'll talk about it, but
yeah, because by the time Sabin's already like a heel, he's at like where Chris Sabin's built now, and he's kind of just stayed there the rest of his career.
Yeah.
But like from that point to like now, he's been like when people would say like, oh, the X Division's the small guys. Like, dude, if one guy nowadays was built like the X Division guys, then they would not be considered small. Like if a dude showed up now built like Sabin in early 05, they would not be considered a small wrestler nowadays. At that time, yeah, because everyone was fucking jacked to the gills. But
04, 05, I mean, the landscape is different now where you don't necessarily have to get to WWE to be like big time.
yeah,
But 04, 05, WWE was the pinnacle. Like there's not this. I mean, as big as TNA got, it was never a competitor to WWE.
No.
And it's not like how now there is AEW and there is other options that wrestlers can go and make a living. The pinnacle, and if you wanted to make money and be a star, was WWE. And up until around Eddie and Chris Benoit passing, there was a specific look and there was a specific style that you had to be if you wanted to work WWE.
Yep.
I'm sure all these guys on this show. I mean, as much as we heard from the Observer, AJ Styles and Chris Daniels, they were in negotiation with WWE. So I'm sure a guy like Chris Sabin, if he ever wanted to make it, I mean, you look at like Frankie Kazarian. Kazarian had that kind of, again, not saying that they were on it, but at least getting themselves to a point where
bulkier,
they worked out and got themselves jacked and bulkier.
And listen, we could be completely wrong. We could be completely wrong. I was amazed that like that was considered small for that time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like Chris Sabin
like,
was like I think because I see Sabin now, and if you show me a picture of Sabin in like even like 03 when it's TNA started and like him now, it looks like a completely different person.
And that's why I mentioned like somebody like Frankie Kazarian, because Kazarian's not a big dude by any means.
No.
And this time, like right now, as we're like in timeline, Kazarian is in WWE working Velocity and SmackDown.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that why he's no longer with Michael Shane? Did he get signed by this point?
I'm pretty sure at this point Kazarian is in WWE
doing his undefeated stuff on Velocity.
Kazarian. WWE.
Still to this day, he never lost.
Yeah, no, he's about to debut. He makes his Velocity debut on July 16th.
Nice.
So he's probably working OVW at this point.
And he's in my WWE book where it tells you every person that ever worked for them ever.
Yes, he is. He is in that book.
We'll have to look through that sometime on CFG Talks.
You have that one?
I do, yeah. It's kind of outdated by now, but it's from like, God, I don't even remember what year, but like Benoit's in it still. But this was like after Benoit died, so.
They only recently did a revised version like last year, and like it's still the same book with just updated entries.
Yeah.
Benoit's still on it.
Yeah, cause I got this years ago when I was like a kid, but like it was like 2013 maybe. Like Scotty Goldman's in it and shit like that. So
that sounds like about the. I remember I always saw that encyclopedia at Barnes & Noble, and I always wanted it, but it was like
I got it for Christmas.
It was like $50, and I was like,
yeah,
fuck. I guess I think buy 2 fucking Naruto issues.
I think I either got it for Christmas or like my nana just bought it for me because it was on sale or some shit. One of those, because I don't remember. I remember one day not having it, the next day having it. Like, and I don't remember when it happened.
It's a cool thing to happen. That's probably, in my opinion, one of the best releases WWE's ever had is their encyclopedia.
Yeah, I would love like I know it would be kind of weird, but I would love like an Impact one.
Yeah.
To see all the people that work for them, because there's been a lot of people that work for Impact that I think people would be shocked about. Plus, I'd love to see a book released in 2023 that has Tritan in it. You know what I mean?
Tritan worked for TNA for about a month. He disappeared until Hulk Hogan wanted to wrestle him. He never appeared again.
Plus, I want to see our boy Jarrell Clark get some recognition. You know what I mean? And Mikey Batts, Connecticut native.
Yo, imagine a 2023 release of Jarrell Clark.
Let's go. Give me a best of Jarrell Clark DVD Impact. Put it on Impact Plus.
Yeah, just put it on the YouTube channel. Fuck it.
Ooh, Shane Douglas is backstage with Monty Brown. Monty Brown
is everywhere tonight.
This man is pacing side to side. He says that he's not fazed by Jarrett going to jail because that's what Shane Douglas asked him. He says, "How do you feel seeing your boy get sent to the Slammer?" And he was like, "I don't give a fuck about that." And then he goes, "Jeff Jarrett," like, you know how G-Unit used to do? Yeah, that's a real dated reference by this point. The minute he did that, I'm like, bro, 05, holy shit, this is like peak of G-Unit. Like, it just brought me back to listen to G-Unit with my brothers. He says that, listen, no one knows Survival like Monty Brown. He names every opponent and says that no one will survive or walk out a winner tonight. And then he does a lot of weird Southern accents, and he's like, AJ Styles at some point. And then he goes, those 4 Omega males. He keeps calling them Omega males the entire time. Like, bro, just call them beta males. Like, it's worse. Like, I think beta's worse than Omega, right? Doesn't it go like beta, Omega, Alpha, if I'm correct? So it doesn't mean they're horrible. So it's not really a diss. And then he says they're going to feel the pounce, period. And then he walks away as we get set up here, Hoss, for our main event of the evening.
Yes,
it's time.
The second ever King of the Mountain match.
Yes, the King of the Mountain match. It has AJ Styles, your champion, Monty Brown, Raven, Abyss, and Sean Waltman. One of these things is not like the other.
All right, so before we get into this version of the match, what were your thoughts on the King of the Mountain? I mean, we haven't gotten to talk about King of the Mountain match yet because the first one happened on a weekly pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the gimmick as a whole?
I think the gimmick is good. I think King of the Mountain's good. I just think instead of putting the belt up, they should just take down a belt. That was the only part that I was like, I always kind of was like, putting a belt up is dumb. If I'm a heel, I'm walking out with this shit. You know what I mean? I'm walking out with this. I'm the champion.
I get it because of the name of the match. Like,
yeah, because you have to. But, I mean, you could still keep that by climbing the ladder and retrieving the belt. You know what I mean?
I agree. If the whole thing changed to where they kept the penalty box, but it was climbing to grab the ladder.
Yeah.
Or grab the title. Because you could still do the idea where, like, you have to get a pinfall or submission to climb the ladder.
Yeah, I think that's cool because then, like, it adds some, like, intensity to it if you haven't gotten a pinfall yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you start getting desperate. So, no, yeah, I like it. I like King of the Mountain. I would just only change that. That's the only thing. I think the concept's cool. I'd like to see it done. I'd like to see it done somewhere else. Maybe, like, AEW or, like, NXT, I think, could do it pretty well. But, brother, we are told that Abyss is 6'8" in the tail of the tape. I'm calling some fucking bullshit. I said, quote, get the fuck out of here. There is no way that man's almost 7 feet tall. Let's pull this up right now.
I'm verifying this right
Abyss.
now. He's 6'8". Yeah.
No fucking way.
He's billed 6'8". I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah, there is no way this man is 6'8".
All right, hold on. I gotta see him next to somebody. Okay, so let's see.
Like, he's tall. I would say he's maybe like 6'4", 6'5", but 6'8".
I mean, he's about a good half of a foot taller than Shane Helms. In this picture, they're next to each other. His chin starts above Gregory Helms' head.
Why have I always seen Abyss as just not that tall guy?
I guess I never did either, but he's that's a pretty tall dude.
No fucking way. I need to meet this fucker.
He's a tall dude, man.
I need to meet this motherfucker to find out.
He's taller than Hogan. What's Hulk Hogan's height? Hulk Hogan's 6'7", yeah. So he's taller than Hogan in this picture.
Oh. By the way, Hulk Hogan's 6'7". I also feel like that's bullshit too.
No, Hogan's a pretty tall dude.
I need to.
Hogan looks like he's taller than me. Is there any is there a
so
big,
if he's there's a picture of him standing next to Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash is very much taller than him.
Kevin Nash 7'2".
Yeah, so I guess that would make sense. He's at Kevin Nash's eyes.
Yeah, that makes sense. 7'2" to 6'8". Yeah.
How tall is Snoop Dogg? Him and Snoop Dogg are the same height. There's a picture of Hulk Hogan and Snoop Dogg.
What's Gregory Helms' height? Hold on, Gregory Helms' height is
Snoop Dogg is
6 foot, and okay, yeah, that's accurate.
Okay, but Snoop Dogg's 6'3". In this picture of him and Hulk Hogan, they're looking eye to eye. What was Hogan billed at? 6'7"?
6'7".
I don't know, man. I'm looking at him and Snoop Dogg look face to face right now.
Snoop Dogg bends his knees a lot, though.
It's him standing in front of Hogan on Raw.
It says Snoop Dogg is 6'4".
And they're looking eye to eye. I don't think Hogan's 6'7".
Hulk Hogan.
The WrestleMania 3 tail of the tape also puts Hogan at 6'8". Maybe this motherfucker's just getting shorter as the years go on.
Hogan's a tad taller in this picture than Snoop Dogg, but it's like they're not like that off. Like, Snoop Dogg's eyes is probably at about Hogan's nose.
So, okay, so you're telling me if I stand Hulk Hogan and Braun Strowman next to each other, they're the same height? Or, sorry, not Braun Strowman's 6'8".
So yeah, him and Abyss are the same height.
What? I do not remember Abyss being that tall.
it would check out because the picture I saw of him and Helms, like I said, Abyss's chin starts above Helms' head.
Yeah.
And Helms is built at 6 foot even. So, I mean, that about checks out. Average head size is about 6 to 8 inches.
I think also Abyss bent his knees a lot when he kept doing the pose and when he would walk. So maybe that's why I never thought he was that tall. Because he would bend his knees when walking. Yeah, he does it on this show. He stands with like a hunch.
I'll be real with you though. I also never viewed Abyss as like a tall dude.
Yeah, so, I knew he was like a bulky dude, but
yeah.
I don't know. Wow. All right.
No,
then.
that would make sense. Yeah, because him and Matt Morgan had their tag team, and Matt Morgan's 7 foot, and they were not that much apart from each other.
Damn. Well then, look at that. The more you know.
Also, shout out Matt Morgan reference on this episode.
Yeah, all right, Connecticut's own. Well, we do get the rules here. The rules: pinfalls count anywhere for people who don't know. If you're pinned, you are sent to the penalty box for 2 minutes, and the person who pinned you is now eligible to hang the title above the ring. So, say if me and Austin were in this match and he pinned me, he can now have the option to win this match, and I do not because I have not gotten a pin, and I must now go to a penalty box for 2 minutes and wait. Make sense? All right. Gotta say, Raven coming out from the crowd in his classic gear with the leather jacket and everything, it made me kind of hyped. Not gonna lie. And then, like, when he rolled in and sat in the corner, I'm like, this is cool. This is old Raven, and I like this a lot. And then I was sold. I was like, all right, now this man needs to get every belt in this company. Also, it feels good to watch a main event, brother, and there's no Jeff Jarrett finally. It took us how long? We finally get something with the NWA title, and it doesn't have to do with Jarrett.
The reign of terror has come to an end.
Finally. The match starts, though. Waltman dives off of the cage onto Raven as soon as the bell rings. Like, what the fuck? And then AJ flies off the ladder onto Abyss as Abyss goes out to try to pull him off. Yes, AJ was on a ladder during the intro, and Waltman was on a cage during the intro. Immediately, though, Monty Brown hits a pounce on Raven and immediately gets a 3 count. He is the first person eligible to win this match, and at the moment, the only person eligible to win the title. So this sends Raven to the penalty box for 2 minutes. After Raven comes out from the penalty box, he does grab a chair. And while that happens, Monty pins Waltman. So now Waltman must go to the penalty box, and Monty Brown's still the only person able to win. And I'm sorry, Raven didn't grab a chair. My apologies. I believe. Let me just look through this real quick.
Raven was let out early. They let him out 10 seconds
Oh, they
early.
did? Wow. Well, okay, I'm wrong. I think Raven grabbed the chair and he started setting up a table as well.
Yeah, the table was set up at ringside.
Yeah, so he was setting up a table. I will say when they're sending Waltman to the penalty box, AJ does a cool dive off the top of the penalty box, and the camera doesn't catch it. They just catch him landing to the ground. And they're like, oh, what a great move from AJ Styles. And I'm like, I wish I could see it.
Yeah.
AJ does get pounced, but Raven pulls him out of the ring and pins him on the outside. Smart move by Raven, as AJ has to go to the penalty box with Sean Waltman. And now Raven is also eligible to win this match. By the way, when Raven does anything in this match, the crowd's cheering for him very loudly. And it doesn't sound piped in because the crowd's on their feet, like shaking their arms. So I'm like, all right, that is a complete 180 from last month.
I guess this weird masochistic face turn is working.
Yeah. Dude, listen, you make Raven back into ECW Raven, people love it. That's all they had to do, make him come through the crowd again and everything.
You mentioned Styles and Waltman are both in the box, and something that, a smart little thing happens. They're actually talking strategy and forming an alliance while they're in the box.
Yes, and that is shown very soon after when eventually Abyss does become eligible to win the match after pinning Monty Brown, sending him to the penalty box. So at this point, by the way, AJ and Waltman are the only 2 men who cannot even attempt to win this match at this point.
Yes.
So they start working together. So Waltman grabs Abyss, puts Abyss onto the table that was set up outside, and AJ Styles does a spiral tap from the top to the outside through a table, getting a pinfall. And Waltman's cheering him on. Like, they're working together. So Abyss is now in the penalty box. AJ is now eligible to win. But AJ goes to hang the title. As he's hanging it, he drops it. But his good buddy Sean Waltman's there. He grabs the belt, climbs the ladder, hands AJ the belt so he can win. As AJ's about to hang the belt and win it all, that damn son of a bitch, Sean Waltman, he starts hitting him. In Austin, he hits an X Factor from the top of the ladder. And the crowd goes nuts.
There's no way.
That did not hurt.
That shit didn't hurt Sean Waltman more than
People talk about just taking regular bumps on that. Imagine what he must have felt. I mean, definitely not as bad as tearing your asshole on the corner, but...
He had to take a full ass bump from the top 20 feet up to the floor, where not only could you damage your ass, you could also damage
your balls.
Your spine and your balls. So, we're going two different ways in that one.
Well, Sean Waltman does get the pinfall, and now everyone in the match is eligible to win. And at this point, the world champion is in the penalty box. He cannot win right now. He is stuck in there for 2 minutes, and he must wait. So Raven grabs a staple gun, and he starts stapling Sean Waltman's head. And by this point, the ring's just covered in, like, weapons. Tables, chairs, trash cans. People are hitting each over the head with trash cans, a staple gun. And I think of all the lines from commentary this night, the call of the night happens when Raven gets his balls stapled, and Don West goes, "That's where you want to get him! Vasectomy right there!"
Dude. Abyss and Raven both take staples to the nuts, and I'm like, bro, fucking, I don't care what company I'm working for, I don't care what match I'm in,
Yeah.
There's no way you can get me to a spot where I get staple gun to my nuts.
Yeah, because those things shoot out real hard. Like, you gonna pop my testy, you son of a bitch. Oh, my God. Abyss does toss AJ to the outside, and because AJ starts climbing the ladder to put the belt up after he gets out of the penalty box, Abyss starts tipping the ladder over, and I think he's going to fall through the table in the corner. No, he falls to the outside, and there's a table out there that I didn't even know was set up. So I thought he was gonna fall to the cement, but no, he falls through a table. And Abyss sees the opportunity here. He sets up the ladder. He grabs the belt. He begins the long climb. He starts climbing the mountain to become the king of the mountain. But Raven hits him with an even flow DDT. He's able to pull him down, hit him with the DDT. He climbs the ladder slowly. And ladies and gentlemen, the reign of AJ Styles is already over. Because Raven, who has lost on every pay-per-view before this, is your new NWA champion. But Hoss, this is the kicker, the crowd is going crazy for it. They are so happy.
Bro, I was so confused.
I'm like, what have I missed?
So I read the Meltzer notes after I watch the pay-per-view. I don't want to be spoiled or anything.
Yeah.
And not knowing any of the TV, only knowing solely what we have seen on this podcast, this entire show and the entire little one-night Raven push we got here made absolutely no sense.
And listen, even when we watched the weekly TVs, he was just like beating jobbers barely and like just cutting weird promos, and that was it, or losing.
Bro, and then going off of what I read in the Meltzer notes about weekly TVs, he was just beating up authority figures every week.
Yeah, that's literally. Remember, he wore like a war helmet one week. He was like, "I need to protect myself. This is war. I'm the god of war."
Fuck out of Larry Zbyszko, and Dusty Rhodes suspended him, to which Raven proceeded to quit. And if we're going off of what I read, this was the first night back from quitting. Like, we haven't seen Raven since he quit, and Zbyszko just randomly added him to the King of the Mountain match tonight.
Well, listen, I was still kind of hyped when he won. Because I don't know why, but the image of him bloody with the belt on his waist, by the way, that's used for many pictures and videos going forward.
Yeah.
When he goes to the crowd and he puts his arms out and he's bloody and the crowd slapping him, they're like, yeah, motherfucking Raven! And there's one guy there where Raven's head is like kind of touching and it's right where he's bloody. The guy's like, yeah. Woo. He looks very uncomfortable as he's getting bled on by Raven.
Raven could bleed on me.
Hey, yo, for real, yo, Raven could bleed on me, though.
I want them to see the outcome.
Yo, Trinity can... I had this fun with this match. I'd give this the same rating as the X Division match. I had a fun time watching both the co-main event and this match.
I gave it a B-. I said it was fun, but they're wild brawls, and the camera not being able to catch a lot of spots kind of pissed me off.
Yeah.
But it was good. King of the Mountain, like I said, it's not a perfect gimmick match, but it's still fun.
Yeah,
and,
it's better than the Reverse Battle Royal. There's a lot worse matches to come.
We're going to get a lot of bad matches coming up soon.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Raven was long overdue a big win here. Like you mentioned, he's been a big fucking... What a loser! Every fucking show he watched. So, him winning, I'll take it. It's like 05 to 06 was the last good year of Raven that we have because he gets a sharp decline.
Yeah.
After this.
And
But,
I think my grade would have been higher if AJ retained because I would have liked to see him as world champion for a little bit longer instead of just a month, but you know.
Salty that he only won the title for 4 weeks and
that was it.
And just dropped it to Raven.
And I don't think he won the world title again until like 2009.
Dude, I don't know. Hold on.
Because I think that's the image of them raising him up on their shoulders.
You might be right. I wanted to
like
verify
08, 09. Because he was champion going into the Hogan era.
We're not going to see another world title run from
I'm gonna look this up too.
AJ Styles until September 20th, 2009.
Oh, okay, so I was right. 2009. Damn.
Unless, hold on. Let me just make sure he doesn't win the NWA. I just pulled up TNA World Title, so I just want to make sure he doesn't win the... I don't think he wins the NWA title again, but I just want to verify that. Yeah, okay. Yes, yeah, we don't get into the AJ Styles World Title run until fucking 4 years later.
Like, god damn, what the hell? Well, wait, it says he's a 3-time champion.
Yeah, he won it twice on weekly pay-per-views.
Ah, okay, so this was the 3rd time. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, brother.
Fun bonus note before we wrap up. Do you want to know what the dark match was for this pay-per-view?
What was it?
Well, the team of Sonny Siaki and Apollo lost. To the team. They lost to the team of Simon Diamond and Triton. So to confirm, yes, Triton is still employed. But that leaves us off on the road to No Surrender is our next show.
Damn. Austin, do you want to know a fun fact about the NWA title before we end this?
What?
I'm going to confirm this really quick. I'm just confirming something real quick. All right. Yes. I think I am correct about this. So, after TNA, actually, no, I'm incorrect. I'm gonna squash this. I'll tell you after. Well, just so you know, after this title was vacated, after they made the AEW, the TNA World Championship, the first person to become NWA champion after that was Adam Pearce, and you guessed it, Puerto Rico. Look at that.
I knew Adam Pearce had a long title run.
A very long. He had for over a year, almost a full year. Then lost it to Brent Albright in Ring of Honor. Yeah, and then he won it back like a month later. Oh man. And then the title got vacated, and then he won it again. Oh man. But yeah, Puerto Rico, set in history.
What are your final thoughts on the first ever Slammiversary?
I thought this was a fun show. I had a good time watching it. There was 2 matches I didn't care about, but I think the rest of the card made up for it. We got the debut of Samoa Joe, had a good co-main event and main event, and a fun little X Division opener there. So I think it made up for the 2 duds. Also, Lance Hoyt and the commentary made this entire show. What'd you think?
I thought so. Overall, I gave the show a C.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the main event and the X Division title match were kind of the 2 big ones on this show. The main event was good, so any show with a good main event usually gets at least a C. And the main problem I had, there's a lot of stuff on here that was not worthy of what at the time was the WrestleMania, because Bound for Glory hadn't happened yet, and I'm assuming Slammiversary was at least pushed as their biggest show of all time.
That's what I like, and I'm shocked it's not still.
They use the numbering, so but it's treated more like their SummerSlam.
Yeah, which I don't understand.
But anyways, but now we're on the road to No Surrender, as I mentioned. Little teaser. The main event is we're gonna be heading towards Raven versus Abyss in a dog collar match, so that should be fun.
Hell yeah.
And we're probably gonna have to. We gotta rush episodes out, so I'll probably be watching this tonight.
Yes. Yes. So the next pay-per-view will be making up for July's, which is No Surrender, which takes place on July 17th. We're recording this way after July 17th, but it's okay because we will be recording that very soon. For TNA No Surrender, live on pay-per-view. So thank you for listening to the Ultimate X podcast here on the $2 tier of Patreon. We will see you guys for the next one. So long, and farewell.
Peace.